Here's something that'll change how you think about money forever. The rich don't get richer by saving money. They get richer by making money work harder than they do. I learned this the hard way when I started my first business 15 years ago. I was religiously putting money into my savings account, thinking I was being responsible. Meanwhile, inflation was eating my money alive at 3% per year, while my high-yield savings account was giving me a whopping 0.5%. I was literally paying the bank to make me poorer. The brutal truth? Every dollar sitting in your savings account is a soldier sitting on the bench instead of fighting on the battlefield. And millionaires? They don't bench their soldiers, they deploy them strategically. Welcome back to Cash and Consequences, where we discuss money and its real-world impact on your life. I'm Franklin, and for those of you just joining us, thank you for being here. And for my loyal subscribers who've been on this journey with me, I appreciate you more than you know. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button now because what I'm about to share will fundamentally change how you view money. Let me tell you about my friend Marcus, a tech entrepreneur who sold his startup to Google for $47 million. When I met him at a financial conference in Toronto last year, I asked him the question I've been asking successful people for 8 years. Where do you keep your money? His answer? Franklin, I don't keep money anywhere. Money isn't meant to be kept, it's meant to be deployed. This hit me like a freight train because it perfectly encapsulates why most people stay broke while thinking they're being smart. They're playing defense with money when they should be playing offense. Here's the math that'll make you sick. If you put $10,000 in a typical savings account earning 1% annually, after 10 years you'll have $11,046. Congratulations, you've made $1,046. But here's what they don't tell you. With average inflation at 3%, that $11,046 has the purchasing power of about $8,203 in today's dollars. You didn't preserve your money. You lost $1,797 of purchasing power. I've managed hundreds of employees across my businesses, and I see this mistake constantly. Good, hardworking people who think their emergency fund sitting in a bank is their ticket to financial security. Meanwhile, they're being robbed by inflation every single day. After consulting with high net worth individuals for 15 years, I can tell you exactly what wealthy people do differently. They understand a fundamental principle that I learned from reading Robert Kiyosaki's work and confirmed through my own experience. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out. Let me share a story about my client Sarah, who owns a chain of boutique hotels across Quebec. When she inherited $500,000 from her grandmother, her family urged her to be responsible and put it in CDs. Instead, Sarah used that money as a down payment on 3 rental properties in Montreal. 5 years later, those properties generate $8,400 monthly in rental income, have appreciated by $340,000 combined, and she's using the cash flow to buy her 4th property. Her irresponsible decision to avoid traditional savings made her over $680,000 richer than if she'd listened to conventional wisdom. This is what I call the Millionaires' money formula. 70% in income-generating assets, real estate, dividend stocks, businesses. 20% in growth investments, index funds, individual stocks, cryptocurrency. 10% in liquid assets, for opportunities and emergencies. Notice what's missing. Traditional savings accounts. I remember having dinner with Philippe, a French wine entrepreneur who built a $12 million portfolio by age 35. He told me something profound. Franklin, poor people ask, how much can I save? Rich people ask, how much can I make? This mindset shift is everything. When you have $1,000, instead of asking where to save it safely, start asking, what asset can this become? What business can this fund? What investment can this unlock? Let me give you a real example from my own portfolio. In 2019, I had $25,000 that I could have put in a CD earning 2.5%. Instead, I invested it in dividend-paying stocks averaging 6% annually, plus growth. That $25,000 is now worth $38,000 and pays me $2,280 per year in dividends. The risky investment outperformed the safe savings by over 400%. But here's where it gets interesting. I reinvest those dividends to buy more shares, creating compound growth that Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world. That savings account compound interest? It's a joke compared to true compound investment returns. The biggest difference between millionaires and everyone else is not just what they do with money, it's how they think about scale. I learned this managing my consulting firm, which grew from just me to a team of 47 people, because I built systems that work without my constant input. My friend David, who owns a software company in Silicon Valley, explained it perfectly. Franklin, I don't want investments that need me. I want investments that feed me. This is why wealthy people love real estate investment trusts, REITs, professional management, monthly dividends, no tenant calls at midnight index funds, instant diversification across 500+ companies with minimal fees, dividend aristocrats, companies that have increased dividends for 25+ consecutive years, business ownership, whether they start it or buy into it, equity beats employment. I've seen this firsthand with my own investments. My REIT portfolio generates $3,200 monthly without me touching a single property. My S&P 500 index fund has averaged 11.2% annually over the past decade. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes. They're get-rich systematically strategies. Living between the US and Canada has given me unique insights into wealth building. Canadians have incredible tools like the TFSA, tax-free savings account, that Americans would kill for. You can invest up to $6,500 annually in stocks, bonds, or REITs, and pay zero taxes on the growth forever. I have a client in Vancouver who maximizes his TFSA with dividend stocks. After 12 years, his $75,000 in contributions is now worth $167,000, and he's never paid a penny in taxes on the gains. Try getting that return from a traditional savings account. The French have similar advantages with their PEA, Plan d'épargne en action, allowing tax-free stock investments for long-term wealth building. Meanwhile, Americans can use Roth IRAs and 401ks to achieve similar tax advantages. The point? Every country has tools that favor investors over savers, but most people ignore them because they're afraid of risk. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Keeping money in savings accounts is actually the riskiest financial strategy there is. You're guaranteed to lose purchasing power over time. That's not risk. That's certainty of loss. I learned this lesson watching my grandmother, who kept $80,000 in savings accounts her entire retirement. She thought she was being conservative. Compare that to my approach. Diversified investments across multiple asset classes, countries, and industries. Yes, the value fluctuates, but over time, it grows consistently above inflation. The risky approach actually preserves and grows wealth, while the safe approach guarantees its destruction. I always tell my consulting clients, the biggest risk isn't losing some money in an investment. The biggest risk is working your entire life and having nothing to show for it because inflation ate your savings. So what should you do starting today? Here's the exact strategy I give my highest paying clients. Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in high-yield savings. This is your true emergency fund. Invest everything else systematically. Start with broad market index funds if you're new to investing. Increase your investments by 1% every month. If you're investing 10% of income now, make it 11% next month. Learn one new investment vehicle every quarter. REITs, dividend stocks, international funds, etc. Track your net worth monthly, not your account balances. Focus on total assets minus liabilities. Remember what my mentor told me when I started my first business. Franklin, you can't save your way to wealth, but you can definitely invest your way there. The millionaires I know aren't smarter than you, luckier than you, or born with advantages you don't have. They simply understand that money is a tool, not a trophy. They deploy it strategically instead of storing it safely. Your savings account isn't protecting your money, it's slowly destroying it. Every day you wait to start investing is a day you're choosing guaranteed loss over probable gain. I want to hear from you in the comments. Where are you watching this video from? And what's your biggest fear about moving money from savings to investments? I respond to every subscriber first, so make sure you're part of the Cash and Consequences family. And remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. The same is true for your investment journey. Until next time, Make your money work as hard as you do.